section, right? All right, so my name is Kate Ugom Ielohara. I'm a data analyst, a Google certified data analyst, right? I have a 5 years of experience in data analytics, and I have been privileged to work for UN and WHO funded projects as data officer and data analyst, right? I have high command in Excel, SQL, and Power BI. These are tools that I work with as a data analyst in different organizations that I am working as an analyst. So I'm a co-founder of Monetizing Academy. So at Monetizing Academy, our mission is actually to ensure that we deliver a simple and excellent data analytics training, right? So that at the end of our training, our students will be able to, use data to solve real life problems, right? So we are not just teaching our students. What this means is that we are not teaching our students how to use Excel or how to use Power BI. We are teaching them to be problem solvers using what? Using these tools, using data, and using the analytics tools like SQL and the rest of them. I'm the convener of Analytics Insights with Kate, right? So it's actually a webinar we take on. We get to know what is happening in the data space, right? So I have a background in data, in science and technology, right? So, and I will be your trainer or your instructor tonight. Okay, so let's proceed. We are talking about data. We'll be talking about data analytics, right? Data analytics. But before we dive into analyzing data and doing all of those things with Microsoft Excel, right? It's important to understand the concept of data analytics, right? It's important to understand the concept of data analytics. Data analytics the concept of data analytics is actually important, right? Because a lot of us, we start a lot of data analysts, right? We start our analysis journey, right? By watching what's it called now, YouTube videos, and we start having a deep understanding of what data analytics really is, right? How we can relate it to real life problem, because that's actually the main thing, right? I'm not just learning this, I'm learning this so that I can apply it in real life scenarios, right? Okay, I'm learning data. How can it be of help in the healthcare sector? How can it be of value to the the agri sector, to education sector, to finance, and the rest of all of these industries? How can it be of value? How can it be of relevance? Me knowing this this skill, how can I be relevant offering these skills, right? So it's important to know what the concept or the fundamental of what you are learning. And that is what we are going to be doing before we go into what analysis, right? So data analytics is actually a discipline, right? It's a discipline that, that encompasses the tools, right? We have analysis tools. It encompasses the tools, the methods, and strategies, right? Strategies you can use to analyze data, right? And analysis simply means the process of you collecting data, right? You collect data, you analyze that data. Or before you analyze, you clean that data. After cleaning the data, you analyze it. We are getting to that. So after analyzing it, you visualize it. Why are we doing all of this process? We are doing this process in order to answer business questions. We are doing all of these processes in order to uncover insight, right? So put this at the back of your mind that the end product of data analytics is what? Is to generate insight. Very important. And this insight is later on fed back into the business. Let's take, for instance, right, a business owner, right? A business owner or someone that runs a supermarket, right? Someone that runs a supermarket, and every day they are doing their day-to-day activities, making sales, keeping counts of inventory, and restocking and the rest of them, right? So at the end of the day, you see that the supervisor or the manager or the data officer in charge will actually, gather the data to see how far they have done. Okay, how many products did we sell? What's our revenue like, right? So these are data that they have generated at the course of that business operation, at the course of that business activity, right? So after generating this data, so a data analyst will now analyze the data, right? So after analyzing the data simply means answering questions. How many products did we sell today? What is our revenue like today? Right? So you are asking questions, and you are using technical tools. You are using analysis tools to answer this question. Oh, you figured out that, oh, just today we sold, or we generated, like, let's say 25 million naira today, right? So it's an insight. Or you can say, oh, which products sold most today? You can figure out, oh, it's actually let's say for an electronic. Am I still in the call? Is someone's hand raised? Please confirm if you can hear me. Okay, so Osaz, I don't know why you're raising your hand. I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay, so we will continue. So after analyzing that data, the data analyst will go back to the business owner or to the manager. Oh, look at the inventory. We need to stock up this particular product, right? So why did he say we need to stock up? Because after analyzing, he found out that, oh, this particular product is actually what is running out. We are running out of this, and we are able to track this because we have data. We have the number of products we have, and we have the number of product that has been sold already, right? So when you analyze and compare, you see that, oh, we just have barely 100, and in a day we sell more than 100, right? So we need to order, right? So they are discovering useful insights, right? So the data analyst will now take this insight and give it to the manager or to the stakeholder, right? And say, oh, this is what we need to do. Oh, customers, from the analysis that I have done, customers are not coming up, right? Probably because of the product, the increase in, price of stuffs, right? So these are the insights that you are giving to your manager, and your manager or the stakeholders will now use this insight, right? They will now use this insight to make informed decision in the business, right? Oh, okay, we've figured out that our inventory is running, we need to restock. The next day they place another, and you see, by the next time when the customer comes to place another, it will not be that, oh, they ran out of order. I don't know if you understand. So data analytics is actually important, and it cuts across all industries, be it in retail, be it in finance, be it in healthcare. It cuts across, right? Because every industry generates data. Even small businesses, they generate data, right? And we all know that data is what? Data is a collection of what? Is a collection of information, or is a collection of raw data, right? So when your business generates that raw data, right? When your business generates that raw data, you use special tools. To clean them and analyze them, right? So when you analyze them, you discover insights. You can see this chain. So this is an analysis chain, right? So from the business to generating of data, from data generation, you go to analysis. This is where a data analyst comes to play, right? So you analyze the data from the business. So after analyzing the data, the insight you have gotten, oh, our best-selling product is laptop on PH. What could be the reason? Is it that PH is a strong product, or HP rather is a strong product, or so it's an insight. Maybe the cost is cost friendly, or the rest, right? So it's an insight and you're putting it back to the business. Oh, because HP is our most selling laptop, we need to restock, right? Because customers, when they come, they prefer buying what? HP, right? And we don't want, whenever a customer walks in to place an order, we say we don't have HP, right? That would reduce business revenue, right? So we've discovered that our best selling product is what? Is HP. So we should, monitor the inventory and restock. Or we find out that our least selling product is what? Is Lenovo, right? What could be the problem? Is it the cost? Is it the quality, right? So probably it could be that people don't really know much about the product. So as an analyst, you now recommend. There is what we call recommendation. So when you discover insights, you recommend to your manager or your stakeholders. Stakeholders are people that are in charge of the business. Stakeholders are decision makers. So you actually recommend to them, oh, because this product is selling, is not really, doing well in the market. Let's do a promo, right? Let's do a massive promo, or let's do awareness. People don't really know much about this promo, right? So that is where the work of a data analyst comes in. So when you generate insight, you feed it back or you communicate it to the stakeholders, right? So the insights and the recommendation that you give them, they will now apply it to the business, right? So your in recommendation is what? Is actionable. Actionable in the sense that your stakeholders can actually act on it, right? You see, that's one of the beautiful thing being a data analyst, right? So you are sitting with stakeholders, right? You are sitting with decision makers and you are making decision with them, right? That's a beautiful and a very privileged job role. So that is actually the importance of what? Of data analytics. So as a data analyst or a data an entry-level data analyst, right? So you are not just analyzing data. I want you to bear this in mind. You are not just analyzing data, right? If you have a data set to analyze, what should come to your mind is what? I am doing this to discover something. I'm not just doing this to create a chart, a dashboard, or to create bar charts, pie chart and the rest of them. No, I'm doing this to discover an insight, useful insight. I'm doing this to answer a question. Oh, my supervisor said that he wants to find out how the revenue, any business question at all, right? So that's your objective. This is the reason why I'm doing this, right? So data analytics is actually important, and data analysts are actually in high demand because our job role is actually a very important role. And the beautiful part of it is that it cuts across industries, right? So it's not left for you to, figure out, okay, which industry do I want to really, go into, right? So there's what we call niching down. So you just decide, oh, I want to go into healthcare. I want to go into HR, right? So you decide which industry you want to go into and build yourself and build your career in that area, right? So we have types of analysis, right? So remember, when this data is being generated, let me make sure if I'm still in the class. So when the data is still generated from the business, right? So as a data analyst, when you generate this data, you ask yourself, what type of analysis analysis will I perform? Right? So we have different types of analysis. We have the exploratory analysis, right? So in this type of analysis, you look through your data, exploratory, from the word explore. So you look through your data, know how many, I think I have a couple of data sets here. Okay. So when you have your data, when you have something like this, you explore your data. Oh, how many columns or how many rows do I have? How many columns do I have? How many rows do I have? Right? Do I how clean is my data? Right? So you explore. You also find out if your data is able to answer your questions, right? is able to answer your analysis questions. There is what we call analysis question. We are going to get to that. Please let me know if I'm fast. I don't know if I feel as if I'm fast. But if you're okay with the pace, please let me see your emoji. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed. Okay, so we are talking about what the types of analysis, and we said that we have the
Please, the
exploratory.
slides are off. The slides are off.
Sorry,
The
I
slides
didn't get
are
you.
off the screen, please. The slides are off the
I didn't hear
screen.
you.
We can't see anything. The
You
slides,
can't see any.
the projection you
Okay,
made, they
it
are
could
off
be.
the screen. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. It could be from your network. It could be from your network.
No,
Yeah,
we are not
you
seeing the
can.
slide. The slide has gone off.
Okay,
I'm
then
not
I'm not the
displaying
only
the slide.
person.
I'm not displaying the
This
slide at the moment.
okay.
Yeah. So okay, so we can mute our mic now. Thank you very much. So we have the exploratory analysis. So this is where you look through your data sets, right? And we have descriptive analysis, right? Descriptive analysis is a type of analysis where you get to describe what has happened over time, right? What has happened over time. Example, how much did we make yesterday? Or how much did we make last week? Or how much did we make last year? So you want to find out what has happened, right? You want to find out what has happened. What is our best-selling product, right? Is a descriptive analysis, right? So descriptive analysis, you want to describe what has happened. Please, if your mic is on, please kindly mute it. I beg you in the name of God. Please. Right? So we have what we call the diagnostic. Who is that person? Is he muted already? So we have the diagnostic. Okay. Noted, Victor. We have the diagnostic analysis. Remember, we are talking about the types of analysis. I said that we have the exploratory analysis. So when you get your data to analyze, this type of analysis, you get to explore the type of data that you have at hand. And we have the descriptive analysis. This is where you want to describe what has happened over time. Probably a business owner sent you a data set to analyze, and they said, oh, want to find out our business performance for last year, right? So you should bear in mind that this is a descriptive analysis. Remember, the business owner said, I want to find out our business performance for last year or for last month, right? So you are checking for, how many products they sold. You are checking for their revenue. You are checking for profit. You are checking for profit margin. You are checking for, a lot of things. So that is descriptive analysis. We have what we call the diagnostic analysis, right? The diagnostic analysis. So diagnosis focuses on why something happened. A business owner may say, oh, we are noticing let's say 15% decrease in our revenue compared to last month, right? So we want to find out what the cause, right? So it's diagnostic, right? So you want to diagnose, you want to find out the cause why there was actually a decrease in sales or a decrease in revenue for that period of time, right? You want to find out why there was a decrease in revenue, right? And we have, okay, so that is it for diagnostic analysis. We have the predictive analysis. Predictive, right? So as a data analyst, you can use data, you can use historic data to predict the future, right? You can use historic data to predict the future. So when you are doing this, you are performing a predictive analysis, right? So predictive analysis examines what is likely to happen, right? What is likely to happen. Okay, let's say in 2025, we made 25 million naira, right? So in sales, yeah, we made 25 million naira in sales. Okay, in 2026, what could we likely make, right? So as a data analyst, with the data that you have at hand, you can actually perform a predictive analysis, right? So we have different tools that you can use to perform predictive analysis. We have different tools, right? You can use to different tools and different approaches you can use to, perform this predictive analysis. We also have what we call the prescriptive, right? Prescriptive, when you are prescribing, right? When you are prescribing. So the prescriptive analysis examines what is likely or okay, suggest what actions to take, right? So you are prescribing. Remember, I said something about recommendation. If you discover an insight, you recommend, right? You recommend, oh, we advise that you should do this. We advise that you should, let's reduce the cost of this product, right? So you are prescribing, you are suggesting what actions to take. Because as a data analyst, our job doesn't really end in just analyzing data or just discovering useful insight, right? So our job also is what? Recommending. What advice are you giving to the stakeholders, right? What are they going home with? What actionable insight or recommendation are you giving them, right? So this is where prescriptive analysis comes in, right? So these are the types of analysis. If you are performing analysis, if you have your data set to analyze, these are the type of analysis you can likely perform, right? We have the exploratory, we have the descriptive, we have the diagnostic, we have the predictive, and we have the prescriptive analysis, right? So it is based on the objective of your analysis. It is based on what you have in mind to do. Oh, I want to do this. And because I want to do this, this is the type of analysis that I want to use. And there are some objectives that allows you to do more than one analysis, right? There are objectives that you need to do both prescriptive and diagnostic and predictive. Do you get? So it's not really must that one objective, you have to do just one analysis, right? There are some objectives that requires you to do all of this type of analysis, right? And that's what we call the deep analysis. A lot of analysts, they stop. I call the analysis shallow is because they stop in this in this stage. They stop in this stage. Oh, we sold 1,000 products. Oh, we made this. Oh, the lowest product is this. Oh, this is this. It's actually shallow. We are not going deep. Okay, we know that this happened, right? We know that we generated so amounts, right? What could be the factor? You want to go deep. There's what we call drill down in analysis. You want to drill down and know what caused that effect, what really happened that made us to generate this amount of money compared to last month or compared to last year. You are going deep. You're also even going deeper to predict, oh, this is what is likely will happen, right? So let's double up our target, or let's do something. We are taking it further, right? So this is where analysis becomes what? Interesting. Analysis becomes interesting when you tackle, if you're analyzing, you don't just stop at descriptive analysis, right? So let's proceed. We have the analysis processes, right? I would love you to pay attention to these aspects, right? The processes of analysis. This stage is actually important. I'm not taking questions now. Please allow me to run the class. After the class, you cannot ask your question. So we have what we call the analysis processes. if you get your data, remember that all businesses generate data, right? And we are not just analyzing for business owners. You can analyze your personal data. Let's say you have your statement, you requested for a statement of result, statement of your account, right? And you can analyze your account. You can analyze your day-to-day activity, right? So data is actually everywhere, not just in business. Data is everywhere. As we are now in this call, we have data, right? We have data. So we can see the number of people that joined the class, right? We can tell the number of people that we can also analyze the number of people that stayed till the end of the class. You can analyze the number of people that were active by asking questions. So data can be anywhere. Data is everywhere. And data is not just about numbers. Data is observation. What do you observe? Oh, I observe that, oh, Uju Cannon is actually active in the class. She asks questions, she reacts to, she's active. That's observation, that's data. Oh, I observed that we are 100 in the call. Oh, I observed that, oh, we have in the 100, we have, let's say, 50 male and 50 female, right? So data is everywhere. Data can also be colored. It's an observation. You can walk into a room and you can tell that, oh, this person, the owner of this room, is actually a simple person. You can see that calmness in the person's room. You can tell the person's favorite color. That's data. So when we talk about businesses generating data, it doesn't really end in business, right? So data is what? Data is everywhere. That's the point that I want to make. Okay, so let's proceed. And we are talking about processes of data. So when you generate your data, right, and you want to start analyzing, there are some steps that you need to take, right? So there are some steps that you need to take, and we're going to see how, these 6 steps, right? 6 steps you need to take while analyzing your data. Remember, we said that data analysis is a process. Have you seen it? It's a process. When you understand this, when you see this particular stage, when you get it right, you are good to go. You can analyze any data at all, be it e-commerce, no matter the field, no matter the industry. When your client, where you got a client on Upwork and say, oh, I have this data, can you help me analyze? You can analyze any data at all. So data analysis is actually the process of what? Of collecting data. Obviously, before you start analyzing, you must have data at hand. Abby, yes, you must have data at hand, and you must have data at hand, right? So it's a process of collecting that data and cleaning that data. Yes, data can be cleaned or data can be dated. So you collect your data, clean your data, analyze your data, and interpret it. So in doing all of these things, there are steps that you will take, right? There are steps that you take. 6 steps. Number 1 is what? The ask stage. I don't know if you remember, I said something about objective depend on the objective. The objective depends on the type of analysis you are going to do. I don't know if you remember, right? So in stage 1, this is where you get to define your objective, right? So the stage 1 is called the ask stage. The ask stage. What am I really doing? A lot of us, we just go to YouTube, we just follow tutorials of, oh, okay, this person is teaching how to create a dashboard, or is teaching how to analyze data. Let me do as the person is doing. Oh, the person clicked this, let me click. That is, we are just clueless. We don't know what we are doing. I was actually I was once in that level, actually, right? So, but for you to start analyzing your data, you need to first of all ask, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? What's my motive of doing this? Do you get? That's the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Why am I doing this? What's my purpose? What do I want to achieve? What's my goal? Right? So if it's actually a personal project, you ask yourself, what do I want to achieve at the end of this? If it's a client, it's a business project, you ask your client, what do you want? Okay, you want me, you first of all, when the client gives you an objective, you first reframe it in your own understanding. You want me to do this at the end, you want to do this, and you send it to the client, and the person will read, that is exactly what I want you to do. Then you proceed to the next level, right? So the next stage is what? The prepare stage. The prepare stage. So this stage, the second stage, this is where you get your data set. Okay, my objective is to find out the business performance for Q1. Do you get? That's my objective. So if you are getting your data Q1 2026, right? If you are getting your data to analyze, will you be getting sourcing data for let's say Q4 2025? It's not possible, right? So you're actually going to get data that will answer your objective. Let me take this again. The prepare stage is where you get data that will help you solve or answer your objective. So you need to get an adequate data, a relevant data, right? So the next stage is what? The process stage. The process stage, right? So this is the stage where you clean your data. Processing, you need to process it. Let it, analysis is just like cooking, right? Oh, I want to cook rice and stew. What do I need to cook rice and stew? I need rice, I need chicken, right? I need tomato, I need this and that, right? So after doing that, I need to wash and prep them. That is processing. I need to prep, I need to wash, I need to, prepare them, right? So after that, I need to start analyzing. Analyzing is what? Is where you start cooking your food, right? You start cooking your food, putting all your ingredients, fry your chicken, this and that. So after cooking, right, what next? You dish out your food, right? You dish it out. That's where visualization comes in. You dish it out, put stew in a separate plate, put rice in a separate plate, put your serving plate, your spoons, your cup, dish it out and pass it to your client or your visitors or anybody to eat. So that's where visualization comes in, right? So the last stage, which is share, you start, oh, I've brought rice, so this is rice and stew with stew, right? And I have a little vegetable, and this, you try to tell us what you have, what you have for us, right? And you now give us the permission to eat, right? So analysis is just basically preparing of food, right? So when you process, we are in process. When you process your data, you are cleaning your data, you are removing duplicate values, right? You are removing empty cells, and you are doing all of these things so that you get your data cleaned up, right? And you get to the analyze stage. You start analyzing your data. So analysis is where you start answering your business questions, right? You start answering your business questions. So when you start answering these questions, there are approaches, there are methods that you are going to use to start answering these questions. That's what we call functions in Excel. That's what we call syntax in Python, right? So you start using these tools to start analyzing your data, right? Remember I told us that there is a follow-up class after this free training, right? So in this advanced course, we are going to take our time to, to break all of these 6 processes in a way that you're going to, grab them, right? So this is actually an introductory aspect of it. We are still going to analyze data, right? So we are not going to go deep. We are not going to go deep in these 6 processes, right? So in our advanced class, you're going to see how you can clean your data. You're going to see how you can source your data. We are going to see how you can analyze your data, right? So this is what we are going to cover in our advanced class. So after analysis, you visualize your data. This is where you turn your insight to graphical representations. We have our charts. Okay, this PowerPoint. Have our charts in Excel, and we have our bar chart, our column chart, our bar chart, line chart, and the rest of them, right? So you visualize your findings, you build your dashboard, right? That's what we call dashboard in analysis, right? You build your dashboard, then you share to your audience, you share to your stakeholders, right? So these are the processes of what? These are the processes of what? Analyzing data. These are steps that you need to take in analyzing data. So even if you're not taking the advanced course, if you want to analyze data, you ask yourself, why am I doing this? That's the first step. So you don't just wake up and say, I want to analyze. So the first stage actually makes you to be in alignment, right? To be in alignment. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Okay, so Excel functions for descriptive analysis. We are going to go down to an Excel and do some analysis, right? So I do some descriptive analysis. Remember, we said that the first stage in data analysis is what? Is the ask stage, right? So this is where you define your objective, right? This is where you define your objective or your problem, right? So we have this problem. So you're a data analyst at a retail store. Your manager asks for a summary report on the weekly sales performance, right? So they want to find out the weekly sales performance, and you have sales data for each product and want to quickly understand totals, you want to understand the performance, you want to understand the average sales, right? So once we have this question, so having defined our problem or having defined our objective, we have our problem, we have our analysis question in line with this problem, right? In line with this problem. So in our advanced class, we are going to tell you, we're going to show you how you can frame analysis questions, right? So number one question is, what is the total sales? Remember, we are looking for performance of the business, right? And we are using this data. This is the data set that we are using. We have the date column, we have the product column. You can see power bank, earphones. Okay, this is an electronic retail store, right? And this is the sales amount, right? And this is the region, and this is the salesperson, right? That made, so for this particular date, it was Ahmed that made these sales or that closed these sales, right? So for this particular date, it was Emeka that closed these sales, right? So we are going to answer these questions. Let me make sure if I'm still in the class because of network. Okay. So we have, what is the total sales? What is the total sales? So we want to find out the total sales, right? We want to find out the total sales, and we have actually built a table where our insights will live, right? So we want to summarize this thing, this large amount of data to this point, right? By answering this question. So number one is what? What is our total sales, right? What is our total sales? So we are going to use what we call the sum function in Excel. The sum function. So you can see what the sum function does in Excel. So it adds all the numbers in a range of cells, right? So we want to find out the total sum of all this range. A range is a selection of more than one cells, right? Is a selection of what? Of more than one cell. So it has all the numbers in a range of cells, right? So we are going to double click on this, and we're going to double click on this and put in our numbers, right? So this is the syntax, number one, number two, till infinity, right? So we are going to put in this number. We're going to select all of this range. We want to find out the total revenue, right? We want to find out the total revenue. And so we are checking for, this is a range now, C2 to C101. right? So we are going to close our bracket and we are going to hit enter, right? So for our total sales, we see that we generated 12 million plus, right? So for the average sales, we have a function called the average function. So what it does is that for the average function, it returns the average, right? That's the arithmetic mean of its argument, right? So it returns the arithmetic mean. So you see, in analysis, you are not the one writing the function. The functions are already built, right? And if you are new to Excel, you don't need to be kind of afraid or confused, right? So in our advanced class, we are taking it from the very, very beginning, right? From Excel navigation and Excel interface, right? So if you open your Excel, these are what you're going to see in Excel, but we will not have time to walk you through the Excel interface. What you are going to see when you open your Excel, you're going to see your title bar, you're going to see your ribbons, you're going to see what we call the formula bar, right? You're going to see what we call the name box. This is the name box. You're going to see what we call the worksheet. This area is the worksheet, right? So in this area, we are going to see all these small boxes. So they are called what? Cells, right? So when you select more than one cell, it's called a range, right? So time may not permit us to run through all of this simple stuff, right? But in our advanced class, it is both for beginners and we are starting from beginner level to advanced level, right? So you don't need to be afraid of any. So we're going to double click this, and remember, we want to find out the average sales, right? We want to double click this and select our value, right? So we're going to select all of these and hit enter. I want to get us to our data before I hit enter, right? So this is what we have selected, and we're going to hit enter. So for our average sales, our average sale is what? 123,000 plus, right? So we want to find out the highest sales made. What's our highest sales made? Our average is what? 123,000 plus. What is our highest sales, right? Excuse me. So there is what a function we call the maximum function. So look at the definition of this function. You know, another beautiful thing with Excel is that even if you're a beginner, Excel, you can actually navigate Excel when you take it one step at a time. Someone's hand is raised. Please, can you just give me a minute? Let me walk through. Okay, after walking through this stage, you can ask your question, right? So for the maximum function, it returns the largest value in a set of values. So let's say we have values, right? Different values. So the maximum will return the highest value. Let's say we have 2, 4, 6. So if you use the maximum function, it will return 6 because 6 is the highest amongst 2, 4, 6, right? So we are going to double click this and select the range that we want to check for the highest, right? So we are going to select all of this, Control Shift down arrow, that's the shortcut. Okay, so let's go down to our data. So we are going to hit enter. Remember, I want to find out the highest sales. So you can see that our highest sales in all of this data that we have here, our highest sales is what? Is 249,000 plus, right? That's our highest sales. So if we want to find out our lowest sales, right? So there is what we call the minimum function, the mean function. So let's read the definition, right? I love doing this. Whenever you bring out a definition, a function, and you are not really cool, you're not really good at it, you don't understand it, you read it first. So the minimum function returns the smallest number in a set of what? In a set of values. So when you have 5 values, it will return what? The smallest.
Hello, madam. We can't see the page. You are the only one seeing it, ma. We can't see the slide at all.
Please
We can only see
confirm
your
if you
face.
can see. Please confirm if you can see. Oh, so refresh. It could be from your network. It could be from your network.
I can see your face and your screen from here.
Okay, thank you so much. So for the minimum function, it returns the what? The smallest number in a set of values. So we are going to double click this and we are going to select our set of values. Remember, it says returns minimum value in a set of what? Values. So we are going to select our value, Control Shift down arrow to select all of them. Right? So we are going to hit enter. Look at our range now. So our range says C2, C101, right? So we're going to hit enter. So our lowest sales made is what? 9,000. Okay, I was thrown out. I was thrown out. Yeah, I am back now. Is Francis here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, okay. Okay, so sorry about that. We are going to continue with our section. So I was talking about the count function. The count function, right? Okay, so we are going to double click. We already know that the count function counts the number of cells in a range of what? In a range that contains what? Numbers, right? So we are going to double click this and we are going to select our range, right? We are going to select our range and we are going to hit enter. So we see that the total products that we sold is 100. We sold 100 products, right? So you see how we have, we have summarized this large amount of data, right? We have summarized it, and you can tell that this table actually makes sense. This small table now, this summarized table, it makes sense compared to this, right? So let's,
We only see your face. We are not seeing the screen.
okay, thank you for calling my attention. Okay. Okay. So we can see that. Please, can we mute our mic? Can we mute our mic, please? Can we mute our mic? I beg us in the name of God. Let's mute our mic. And so like I was saying, you can see our summarized data, right? You can see that it makes sense. It makes sense compared to this large amount of data, compared to this data. You're just seeing information here, right? You're just seeing information here, name of product, sales. But with this table, we can see, okay, our total sale is what? Sales is what? Is 12 million plus. Our average sales is what? Is 123,000. Our highest sales is what? Is this. So this makes sense. And from this, we are going to discover what? We are going to discover insights. We are going to discover what? Useful insights. We are going to discover useful what? Insight. Okay, the count function. The count function. So it says, so you type in the count, right? So from the definition, it counts the number of cells in a range that contains number, right? So when you double click on it, look at the syntax. Value number 1, value number 2, you can have as many values as possible, right? You can have as many values as possible. So we are going to highlight, or we are going to select our values. So these are our values. We are going to select it down to the end, right? So this is where our value ends, and we are going to hit enter. So when you hit enter, you have your value. That's 100 products sold, right? So in Excel, we have countless types of formulas, right? So what we did is actually what we call the aggregate function, the sum, average, count, minimum, maximum, right? So we have the financial functions, we have the logic function, we have the text function, we have date and time, we have the lookup and reference function, right? So we have all these functions that we can use to summarize data, right? And just like I've said, obviously we cannot cover all of these functions tonight, right? We cannot cover all of these functions tonight, right? And that is why we are opening our advanced section, right? So in our advanced training, we are taking these functions one step at a time, functions that are needed and that are important for analysis, right? We are not just going to introduce you to them, we are going to make you understand how they really work and how you can use them, right? So let's go back to our slide. Or before then, if you have question, you can quickly ask your question before we can go back to our slide. Okay. So let's go back to our slide since we don't have questions. Okay, I hope I'm not wasting our time. I hope we are getting value, and I hope I'm not wasting my own time. I've been talking for a while, right? Okay, so we are going to talk about
You're not
that.
wasting your time, man. You're not wasting your time. We are getting value.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. So for the advanced class, we're going to talk about that as we proceed, right? So let's So let's proceed. How to turn your skills into money. How to turn your skills into money. You know, I tell people that you don't need to learn Excel, Python. You don't need to learn all of these things, right? That's mistake people make. When you learn one skill, you hold on and endeavor that, oh, this skill is paying me, before you can now advance to another skill, so that you will not be frustrated, right? That's why a lot of people, they learn this, they learn this, they learn this. At the end, they are not seeing anything. At times, money can be the motivation, rest, right? So you need something that will, motivate you, that I'm actually growing in this field. So what I advise my students is what? Focus on one skill, right? Master that skill. When you master that skill, you now begin to what? To monetize that skill. So we have different ways we can monetize our skill. So we have the freelancing services, right? So in this aspect, this is where you go to, platforms like the Upwork, right? You go to Upwork, you go to Fiverr, you go to freelancer.com, right? I bet you a lot of people are cashing out a lot of money in hard currency in these platforms, right? If you mean business, right? If you mean business, there is actually a challenge, a challenge we are putting out, a 3-month challenge we are putting out together with my friend, right, who is an expert in Upwork, right? So we did that last quarter. It's a 3-month challenge. It's a 3-month challenge, and we did that, and we actually recorded tremendous testimony, right? So what's that? We actually bring people together, because at times, procrastination has killed a lot of visions and a lot of people. At times you learn a course, and after the course you don't go back to that course, right? So my friend that runs an Upwork training says, oh, I want to do a challenge, right? Let us bring people, and not just people that have skills. Oh, you're a data analyst, you're a virtual assistant, you are any technical skill at all that you can offer in these freelancing skills, right? So every 2 a.m. we are waking up, we are sending job application, we are sending proposal, we are sending gigs, right? We wake up and send out, this thing. So this is actually to encourage people, right? And I tell you, when you do this for 3 months, you are going to see the results of your efforts, right? So freelancing platforms like Upwork, this is where you get work. I think I have one here. I think I opened yeah. So this is actually an Upwork job website. So I just searched data analytics, right? So you can see we have this one. It says we are seeking a detail or oriented and analytical data analyst with experience in Microsoft Excel. That's beautiful. And Tableau to support data-driven projects. The selected candidate will work with data provided by our team. That you see that collection of data, right, by our team to generate insights, to generate reports, and to visualize data. So you can look at the amount, right? This is an hourly job. Hourly job means that in every hour that you work, you are going to be paid $45 per hour. So the hourly range is what? $45 to $45, right? So you can see that this job is open for intermediate, right, and not just entry level analysts. It's open for intermediate. We have 3 levels. We have the entry level, we have the intermediate, we have the professionals, the advanced level, right? So that is when you say, whatever you master, whatever skill you master, believe me, I kid you not, you will monetize that skill, right? So by just analyzing and creating insights, you are getting $45 per hour. That's powerful. right? So, and you see this, we have analytics and products and data products lead. And this is $20. I'm looking for, I run a small online business school, and we have a small cohort for a data analytics boot camp starting in June that will need a new instructor. So if you know analytics, if you know how to analyze, so they're looking for an instructor, right? They're looking for an instructor just like me. So if I want to be in their team, I can apply for this, right? So if I want to know more about the job, I can click on the job and know more about the job. So the estimated value is fixed. So in Upwork, we have what we call the hourly job and the fixed price, right? So fixed price is after this section, right? After the job, after you must have finished the job, they are paying you $8,000, right? So it's starting in June that we need a new. I want to see if there is a deadline for the project. So if you click on this, you're going to get more information about the project, right? So after this, you are getting this amount. There are a lot of data analytics job here, right? And you may feel, someone will tell me, oh, it's not easy to get work on Upwork. It's not easy to get work on Upwork, but people are getting hired, right? People are getting hired. And other people are there shouting it's not really easy, right? Probably they are pressing their phones and playing and laughing. It's not really easy, but you've not put in the needed effort, right? You've not put in the needed effort. Do you know that there are people before 2 a.m. or before 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. they decide that every day I want to be submitting like 10 proposals or 10 application. Let me use that word, application, so that we're able to understand. 10 application. My dear, when you send out 10 application, right, every day, and you do it for 3 months, do you think that you will get at least one job? I'm not saying 5 job, I'm just saying 1. When you do 10 times 3 months in a day, you know how many applications you will send, right? So it's all about dedication, and that's why we have a community. That's why we have a community that will help you grow, especially in this freelancing journey. Freelancing can be sweet, but frustrating for some people because they have been trying and nothing is working. And I'm so excited when my friend shared this. I was excited. I wasn't able to join her for the last quarter, but I told her that I'm bringing all my students. You see this one, my students will join, right? My students will join. And because this actually, what people need is actually motivation. They need motivation. They need people to motivate them so that they'll keep going. And that's actually the aim of that challenge, right? So let's proceed with what we have. We are talking about how you can monetize your data analytics skills, and we've talked about the freelancing services. We talked about the data support officer, right? So this is where you just send your application to. So we are talking about so this is for offline, right? You want to work offline or on-site, excuse me. So you just send your application to business owners, NGOs, you want to work for them, organizations like, name it, you want to work for them, you want to manage their data. I started my analytics journey as a data officer, right? I started my analytics journey as a data officer. It was actually a remote job, and I was being paid 50K for that job. So I was just, doing that job with my 9-to-5 job. And it was actually beautiful because I was actually making money with my data analytics skill. I was just, supporting it with what I was doing. And I was actually okay. So it actually motivated me to be learning and improving. Trust me, when I started that job, when I got that job offer, I wasn't an expert, right? I wasn't an expert, but I grew, I got experience while working, I understood, how working with team members, right? I learned a lot, right? So we have the consulting stage, right? You want to monetize your data. Okay, let's say that you are not interested in freelancing, or you want to do all of them, right? So there's what we call the consulting way of monetizing your skill. So what do we do in consulting? From the word consulting, many of us feel that it's actually a big deal. It's not for me. I need to attain this particular level of professionalism. I need to master this, right? So consulting simply means, oh, I can analyze your data. I am confident that I can analyze your data. I don't want to work for a particular organization full time, right? If it's remote, you are going to clock in so time. You're going to send your report so time. Probably you are not that kind of person, just someone like me. I did it for a particular time and I resigned. I resigned my 9 to 5 job, and I started full-time freelancing. And I started full-time freelancing, and this is my 2nd year as a full-time freelancer, and it has been a very beautiful journey, right? I do consulting, I do freelancing, I run my my academy, right? So you can decide. Consulting simply means I know how to analyze, right? Let me help you manage your business or your business data and analyze it, right? So you are meeting, okay, let's say that your field is what? Your field is, let's say, real estate, or you want to focus on, let's say, fuel stations in your environment. You meet different, let's say, real estate companies, right? And submit your proposal, right? I told there is a strategy for this. When you register in our advanced training, I'm going to show you the secrets in landing a consulting in landing a consulting gigs, right? So you send your proposal to organization, businesses, and out of let's say you sent out to 10 or 20, right? So out of these, 5 people obliged you. So you are servicing these 5 organizations, right? So you are servicing these 5 organizations. That's actually what consulting level means. So we have this digital products. When you have the products to sell, you build invoice, you build expense, you build budget templates, right? So when you build all of these things, businesses need them, right? Business owners need them. So when you build these things, you can decide to sell it to them. Obviously, we are also going to learn how to build, you're going to learn how to build all of these templates, like the budget templates, the profit and expense templates, right? And you can also decide, when you build these templates, you can host them on Seller and sell them, right? And sell them, put it out there, and people will buy, right? So you can actually decide to teach what you know, right? So that's actually selling a digital product, right? So you can decide to teach. Was it 2023? Someone reached out to me and said, oh, I work a lot with data, but I'm finding it difficult to analyze data using pivot table. That is what we call pivot table. That's what we call pivot table in Excel. Is found in the insert region, insert tab rather. So with this insert tab, with this pivot table, right? So you can use it to summarize your data, right? So do you know how much the person gave me to teach her pivot table, right? A person gave me 30K. It didn't even take me like because I told her that I'm only going to take her for 3 weeks, right? I'm not taking her for 1 month. I'm taking her for 3 weeks, and we are meeting 2 times a week, right? And after that, I collected my money. A UK client reached out to me that, oh, I came into UK and I'm an administrator. I need to refresh my this thing. I taught him Excel from beginner level to advanced, and I know how much I made. I made a very huge amount. I know how much I made in that training. So you can decide to record a course, probably on pivots or on automation or on how to build a dashboard, a very beautiful dashboard. You create a course on it and put it out there, and people will subscribe. One beautiful thing about data analytics is that there are diverse ways you can monetize your skills. There are diverse ways you can monetize your skills. If you are not cool with freelancing, right, you can opt for, working as an officer. You can do a consulting business. You can get a digital product and sell, right? There are different ways you can start earning from your data analytics skills, right? So let me make sure if I'm still in the class. Okay. So let's move to the next slide. So this brings us to our advanced training, right? So in our advanced training, we are going deep into data analytics. In fact, it's actually a 1 month analysis, right? It's a 1 month training. And in this 1 month, trust me, is going to be a transformational 1 month for you, right? Because we are starting from the very, very, very beginning, and we are going deep into data analytics. So we call it deep data analytics, right? So in this boot camp is a 1 month boot camp, right? Where you get to learn data analytics with Excel and Power BI, right? You are learning Excel and Power BI. So we have our models. You are learning introduction to data analytics. But before then, you are learning personal branding, right? So I love taking this course because if you want to start your data analytics journey, you need to build a brand for yourself. Like if someone sees me and I say, "Oh, Kate," the person will know that Kate is an analyst, because I have actually branded myself to be one. So we are going to tell you how you can brand yourself, right? So we are taking that course on personal branding. So from there, we are doing introduction to data analysis for business. So remember, we said that we are not just analyzing data, right? So we want to find out what is going on in business first. We want to understand business structures, right? We want to understand the concept of business. There are different elements. There are different departments, right? So we want to understand the business data foundation, how data comes in a business, which tool. There are different tools that business owners use to generate their data, right? Like the POS and the rest of them, and inventory tools, right? So we want to understand all of these things before we start introducing Microsoft Excel, right? So we'll understand how we'll understand business first. When we understand business first, we'll now understand how data analytics, how business relates, or how they can use data analysis in business. Before we now introduce you to Microsoft Excel, how you can use Microsoft Excel to analyze business data, right? So we are going to start from the very beginning to introduction to Microsoft Excel. So even if you're a beginner, we are starting from the very, very beginning, right? From the introduction to Microsoft Excel, to data cleansing, to data consolidation and organization, right? So we're also going to look at advanced functions, right? And we're going to look at advanced statistics too. And we are going to look at business KPIs. KPIs is actually what businesses use to, to measure their growth, right? So we are going to look at all of this. We are going to look at data modeling and forecasting, very important. We're going to look at data visualization with Power BI and also with Excel, right? We are going to look at skill monetization, how you can monetize your skill, right? You're going to look at how you can monetize your skill. And so at the end of the training, remember I told you that it's going to be a transformational 1 month for you, right? It's going to be a transformational journey for you, right? So after this training, you are going to learn how to summarize large amounts of data. And you're not just going to learn how to summarize them, you're going to learn how to uncover insight. You know what we did using the sum function, average, and what we did is just basically summarizing them. You're going to learn how you are going to discover insight. Okay, after analysis, what happens, right? You're going to learn how to discover what? Insight. Insight, and also how to recommend, how to recommend to your stakeholders, how to advise them on what next to do, right? So you're also going to learn how to clean your data using Power Query, right? Power Query is actually a tool in Excel. It's actually an ETL tool. ETL tool means that you can use it to extract data from different sources, right? You can use it to extract data from different sources and clean data, right? When you clean your data, you have processed it. Remember the process stage. That's the third stage in the analysis processes, right? So you're going to use Power Query to process our data. Another powerful thing that Power Query does is what? It automates our process, right? Let's say that you have cleaned this particular data. So because you cleaned it in a Power Query, you cannot, if this data was updated, let's say that it was updated, you cannot repeat it, because this tool is what we call an automated tool, right? So you just click on a button called the refresh button, and everything refresh for you, right? So you're going to learn how to clean data using Power Query. You're going to learn how to visualize data, right? How to visualize data, how to build professional dashboard like this, right? So after analysis, you can see this is a HR dashboard, and the objective is what? Attrition and performance overview, right? So you can see total employees, total salary, average salary, hire dates. You can see this is impact of overtime on attrition. So these are the analysis that they have done, and we converted it into visual, right? So at the end of this training, we are going to learn how to build something like this. So you can see this one. This is a sales performance analysis dashboard, right? So this is a project that we did in our last boot camp, right? So you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something like this, right? Okay. So you're going to learn visualization and how to build professional dashboards like this. And what else? You're going to learn how to build templates. So templates is actually one of the tools that businesses use in organizing their data, right? So we are going to learn how to build expense and profit calculator, and not just a particular template. We are going to show you the concepts, right? We are going to show you, or we are going to teach you the concepts on how to build any template at all. When you go to Upwork and search, I may not have the time, but go to Upwork and search, go to this job search, type template, spreadsheet templates or spreadsheet models. You are going to see that a lot of people are looking for people that will help them to build one, right? So we are going to help you to build, no matter how advanced that template is. We are going to show you the structure that you're going to use in building it. And data modeling using Power Pivot. So in this advanced training, you are going to learn Power Pivot. Power Pivot is actually an advanced way of analyzing data, right? So we are going to learn data modeling, right? You're going to learn how to build relationship with data, right, relationship with different data tables, right, and start performing your analysis, right? So Power Pivot is an advanced stage of Power Pivot table, right? So we are going to go down to after our pivot table, we are going to Power Pivot, right? Believe me, it's going to be an interesting and a transformational section that you cannot afford to miss, right? So we are going to learn Upwork and LinkedIn optimization. I've showed us Upwork, right? And believe me, in this Upwork, should I go back to that? In this Upwork, let's go back to Upwork search. So in this Upwork, there are a lot of, when you see this, in this website, there are a lot of hackers, there are scammers here, right? And there are a lot of competition here. Let's open this. Let's open this and see how many people. Okay, this may take a while. This may take a while. But you're going to get all the whole gist in our advanced class. So the point I wanted to make is that, as you see this job search, we need an instructor, we need someone that will analyze our data, right? As they are posting this job offer, when you click on it, you are going to see that 100 people have already applied for this. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to see 100, you're going to see 50, you're going to see 20, you're going to see 5, you're going to see 1, you're going to see 0. I'm not going to lie, you are laughing, but that's reality, right? But there are strategies, right? So you may be wondering, what? But there are people, closing these deals, right? There are strategies. There are proven strategies, and we are going to share that to you. Strategies from optimizing your portfolio, right? Optimizing your accounts, right? Getting your portfolios ready, right? The right time to send application. Don't waste your connect. That's what we call connect in Upwork. Connect is just like a recharge card that you use to, you want to make call, you need a recharge card, right? So if you want to send a job application, you need connect. So you don't just go and be sending both fake job offers and you just be wasting your connect, right? So we are going to show you how you can, figure out which job offer is scam or which one is legit, right? And the right time to send. You don't just, you are in, majority of our attendants are Nigerian. You are in Nigeria and their time zone is different from ours. But you can't just send anytime you want to start sending. When you look at, you see that 100 people have already sent out their proposal. So there's actually a peak time. There's actually a required time for you to send out these things. These are strategies, right? There are some clips, video clips, there are some efforts that you need to take, right? And we are ready, available to show you these steps, these strategies that works, right? And trust me, when you apply these strategies, believe me, I tell my students, give yourself 3 to 6 months, right? I tell them there is this scenario I played. I don't know if for this last batch. I tell them, if someone is learning how to sew clothes, if someone is learning fashion design, or let's bring it down to tailoring, right? So the first month, will that person be good to make a very good dress? In all these tech skills like web development and the rest of them, people feel that, let me just buy course and this thing. No, the reality is what you need to learn. You need to learn. And this is where we come in as an academy. We are going to break all of these things down in a simple way, right? First of all, we are breaking it down for you in a simple way. You have access to, to learn and learn and learn and learn, right? Then you see that by the end of the 1 month, you have actually grown. You have, number one is what? You have clarity. When I had clarity about what data analytics is and how relevant the skill is, I was like, wow, it was as if something fell off from my eyes. So getting clarity is the number one thing. And at the end of the training, we are going to ensure that you get clarity. And when you see, no matter the data set, no matter the field, no matter the industry, when you get a data set, you have this confidence that you can do it. Yeah, you have this confidence that you can do it. When you see job offers like this, it will not be intimidating because you know them, right? So number one is what? Clarity. Number one is clarity. And number two is what? Strategy on how to monetize your skill. And so these are the areas we are going to go deep step by step, right? Yeah, so let's proceed. Let's proceed with our slide. So we're talking about Upwork and LinkedIn. So these are the areas we are going to search for international jobs, right? So we are now stopping there. We are going to practical analysis. We are not just learning Excel. We are going to do HR. We are going to do finance. We are going to do healthcare. We are going to do retail. We are going to do marketing. So that you actually feel the relevance of what you are learning. Do you get? So these are the practical analysis we are going to do at the course of this boot camp. I'm going to say it again. This boot camp is going to be a transformational boot camp, a transformational 1-month journey for you when you register. So, here there is a bonus. Beautiful. So when you register for this, you are getting our course on how to build templates and models. You are getting it for free. This course was launched in March, right? And we sold it for 5,000 naira for the pre-order. So currently this course is selling for 15,000 naira. 15,000 naira. This course is selling for 15,000 naira. So when you register for our bootcamp, you are getting this as our student. You are getting this course for free, right? How to build what? Templates and models, right? So our past students, they are buying this course because this offer wasn't available when they were taking their course. So most of them are buying, all of them are buying this course, right? They are buying it. So if you register, you are getting this course for free. So also have another bonus. You are getting a recognized certificate after the boot camp. You are getting a certificate. You are getting mentorship, right? So after the 1-month training, our group chat, we are not deleting it. Our group chat is there where you have access to, to your instructors. If you have questions, you can ask us. Probably when working on your project. If you're working on something, if you encounter something, you paste it in the group chat. If you don't want to paste it in the group chat, you come to our DM. We'll walk you through, right? So that's what mentorship is all about, right? And you also have access to all our recorded sections. We understand that people work 9 to 5. We understand that people get busy, right? So it's not much that it's not, 100% that you will attend all the live class. And we are not selling recorded videos. We are coming live every day to learn, right? We are coming live every day to learn. So peradventure you missed a section, just like the one we are having now. If you have question, you ask, right? So peradventure you missed a section, you don't need to be worried. We are emailing all of these things. We are sharing it to your drive. So you have a long time access to the recorded the recorded section, right? So it's actually a very full package, right? So the cost of this section of this bootcamp, right? So registration fee for all of these, both the free course, both Upwork and LinkedIn monetization, both analysis and the rest of them. So the registration fee for this is what? It's 70,000 naira, right? 70,000 naira, and which is even cost friendly. 70K is cost friendly. right? There are places you can get much more than this. There are places you can get more than this, or even less than this. Depends on what they are covering, depends on their methods, right? But for all of these, we are offering this for 70,000 naira, right? 70,000 naira. However, for the first 10 persons, and this offer may end tonight, right? How many people do we have here? So we have 50 something people. So this offer is open, and the offer is open till tonight, depending on how many people that registered, right? But the first 10 persons, you can go ahead and pay 32,000 naira. 32,000 naira means that you are getting all of these things, right? You are getting all of these things that we outlined, right? So 32,000 naira, you are getting when you register for the course. You have access to the learning platform, and you have access to all of these things. So the first 10 persons, you can pay into this bank account. We are dropping a link for our international students. We have people that joined the training from Rwanda, we have from Ghana, we have from different locations, right? So we are dropping a link so that you can use your local accounts and register for the course, right? However, if you are paying, if you're in Nigeria and you want to pay, you can use this bank account, right? You can use this bank account to pay. And we have testimonies. Obviously, the badge we are taking now is badge 8. So we have done badge 1, badge 2, badge 3, badge 4, badge 5, batch 6, batch 7, and we are now in batch 8. Obviously, we have testimonies scattered all over the place. And believe me that this testimony will not contain this section, right? So we just have a few of them. But the link we are going to drop, you can get lots of testimonials from our past students, a lot of them, right? So you can take your time and read these testimonials. So these are batch 8, right? And I promise you that batch 8 is going to be a transformational one, right? And other batches has been transformational. Each person that graduates, they testify that it's transformational, the way we break down every concept in a way that you understand. Clarity, understanding what the concept, right? So when we teach, you are getting clarity, right? Someone said that the teaching is very simple. We break it in a way that you want. We don't use, I don't know if you notice, we don't use big grammars, right? When we get to our job space, right? We are working with different people, different backgrounds, different region, and the rest. So that's when we can wear our tech this in. But if we are training, we are teaching beginners, we come down to beginner level, we break it down in a way that you understand, right? So that is it for tonight. So we are going to see in the boot camp. You're going to see in the boot camp, and if you have any question, you can ask. This is few minutes past 10. So if you have question, you can go ahead and ask your question, and the payment details is displayed for you to go ahead and make your payments, right? So the 32,000 naira is open for just the first 10 persons that will make their payments, right? So this junction, I'm going to open the mic for questions. So if you have questions to ask, kindly unmute your mic and ask your question. Okay. What's the question? Do you have a question in the box? Okay, when is the boot camp starting? The boot camp is starting next month, first week of next month, first week of May, right? Please kindly consider those that couldn't join today's class. Yes, the section is recorded. The section is recorded. Can someone convert 70K? So we are going to send the link where you're going to, use where you're going to use your local currency, and after this section, you're going to send that link so you can pay with your local bank, right? And you say at the end of the day, use the baby steps to build your portfolio. I didn't get that, Grace. Is that a question or a suggestion? How much for the advanced training, please? It's looking yummy already. Oh, wait until you get into the advanced training. Is transformational, trust me. Okay, I would love to learn under your tutelage, Miss Kate. Thank you, and I can't wait to have you in our boot camp. Okay, my life currently 50 per week. God, that beg, oh, I didn't get that. Probably was when I was talking. Okay, so we don't have any question. I believe that the section was a clear one, and I believe that I didn't waste my time. I've been talking for over an hour plus now. Okay, Asekin, your hand is raised. In Nigeria, so for those that are not residing in Nigeria, we are going to send the link where you can register with your local account, right? We are going to send the link. Is someone's hand raised? Aseki, did I get that? Aseku, yeah, Aseku. Your hand is raised. Do you have question to ask? Let me know if you have question to ask. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording so that
He asked a question in the comment section. Check the comment section.